Hey, Motorman here, and this week we're going to talk about what's it like to live with the Street Glide ST model for, well, generally you do a road test or a review on a motorcycle and you ride at 10, 20, 25 miles probably at the most, and you get a feel for the motorcycle, but you don't really get to know what it's like to live with the bike. So we're going to talk about this ST that I purchased, I don't know, 6 months or so ago. I'm going to go over some of the things that I've changed. It's very few changes, but one is I put on the rear crash guards, and of course I put on the motorcycle drop guards just in case the motorcycle tips over, because I sometimes push my motorcycles to the limit. I haven't dropped one in about 20 years, but you never know. I'm getting older. And I've also put tab mufflers on here. I'm going to let you hear what that sounds like. According to Harley, the head pipes on this bike are performance tuned, which sounds like advertising nonsense. However, I have to say they must be performance tuned, because I have another motorcycle with the exact same mufflers on it, and this does sound better. It's got a deeper sound to it, so I guess there is something to performance tuned headers. I should say that the type of person that would be shopping for this kind of motorcycle, by the way, ST stands for Sport Tourer, would be somebody maybe that's looking at a Gold Wing, or more probably a Street Glide Special. Now, of course, the ST model comes in a Road Glide as well, but since I have most of my experience with the Street Glide ST, that's what we'll be talking about. And sport touring indicates that it's a sportier motorcycle than, well, your regular Street Glide or the Street Glide Special. As far as price difference, this lists at MSRP $30,000. That's not counting surcharges or freight or any of the other things, versus the Special, which is about I think $27,500. So it's about a $2,500 difference in price between this one and the Special. The reason I chose this over the Special is because you got the taller shocks on the back, 13 versus the 12s, and I like to have that extra ground clearance both at low speeds and high speeds. By the way, we had a storm come through here a couple of days ago. This road tends to flood a little bit. It said there's water on the road, but I'm going to take it easy and we'll find out. But that extra inch of travel does make quite a bit of a difference. As far as lean angle ground clearance. Yeah, I'm seeing some water on the side of this road. It also gives you a slightly better ride, especially if you're going to put two people on the motorcycle. Now, I've ridden this bike on a racetrack, which I'd never done before. Not this particular motorcycle, but one of the bikes supplied to us by Harley Davidson during their press release. And I could tell you, and you could ask Kyle Wyman, he's the guy that professional racer who's won several of the King of the Baggers races. He's also taken his Road Glide onto the track at Laguna Seca, and I think he said it was 1.5 seconds slower on the racetrack than the actual race bike, which is pretty damn good for a street motorcycle. His Road Glide, the only modification was he had the slightly bigger motor, but that really doesn't help you on the winding roads or those track conditions. So this bike is capable probably of a lot more than most riders' skills. In other words, it's tough to find the bike's lean limits or limitations on the street. Now, if you're shopping a Gold Wing as compared to this motorcycle, price is about the same. Yeah, Gold Wings are up around 30 grand as well. And I know that the metric dealers, just like the Harley dealers, are tacking on anywhere from $800 to $1,200 over list price. And that's simply because of the supply chain shortage. That still is a problem. So in other words, of course the demand exceeds the supply, so the dealers, they're going to make some extra profit. They got less bikes to sell, they got to make more on each motorcycle that they sell than if they sold 100 a month versus 20 a month. One of the other things I've changed on this motorcycle, they come with a 4-inch shield. This is a 6-inch from Friedel Shields, and it's got this little lip here. Normally a 6-inch shield, I'd get some helmet buffeting at highway speeds, but because of this little lip they put in there, I could get away with the 6-inch shield. And of course, the shorter the shield, the better it looks. I could also could have gotten a tinted shield from Freedom Shields, but my camera, since it's mounted on the chin area of the helmet, I want you to be able to see as much as possible without having that tint in the way. But overall, this is a fine touring motorcycle. If you want to go up, if you live up in the mountains, it handles just beautifully at any sane speeds on the winding mountain roads. This bike is also equipped with the RDRS. That gives me traction control, cornering ABS, a hill hold. It shows you how much pressure you have in the rear tire. There's quite a few things it comes with that I think are very valuable. It's about $1,025 option, and I think it's well worth it if it's offered by the manufacturer. That includes just your standard ABS. Always go for the ABS. It is a lifesaver. And as far as the RDRS, I'll give you an example. We were riding up in the mountains in Arizona, and as we started going up higher and higher, it started getting cooler. We noticed some snow on the sides of the road, and coming around a blind curve at about 25 miles an hour, and there's snow and ice on the road. You would think that the bike would low side or there'd be a major problem, but there wasn't, because the RDRS did its job. I actually noticed nothing as I went over that ice and snow with the bike leaning over probably at about 20 degrees, so it's a lifesaver as well. Seat comfort on the standard seat is okay. It's good for about, I'd say, an hour and a half. I have a couple of other seats that I got from CC Rider, and they are more comfortable. But the big difference that you get with this bike over the Special is the 117 motor, which is not night and day difference, but there definitely is a difference, especially with throttle response, and it seems to be at highway speeds considerably faster. I got this bike in 0 to 60, I think just under 4 seconds, 3.9. So is it worth the same price as, say, a Gold Wing? And I mentioned Gold Wing because that's another heavyweight touring motorcycle, as is the BMW 1600B. Both of those motorcycles are fine motorcycles. The BMW has a lot more power, about 60 horsepower more. So yeah, it's a lot faster, and inline 6 is smoother. However, as far as smoothness, these M8 motors are really, really smooth, especially in the touring versions.
but I get no vibration coming through the hand grips. That's good because my hands get very sensitive. Some motorcycles will put my hands to sleep within an hour. This one never does. And of course the Goldwing or the BMW are even smoother, but that's good and bad. This feels like more like, to me, what a motorcycle should feel like. I don't want to feel like I'm driving a two-wheeled car. I've owned a couple of Goldwings, I think 2 of them. 2001, I think, and a 2006. And they are fine long-distance motorcycles, just as this is. As far as out-and-out handling, high-speed handling, in other words, if you're going around a particular curve, you might be able to go around that curve at 80 miles an hour on the Goldwing before the hard parts start hitting the ground. On this bike, probably about 5 miles an hour or less. To me, that's not a big deal. But as far as low speed handling and maneuverability, again, I have to give the edge to the Harley. It is the best at low speed handling because of the short wheelbase and rake versus all the competition out there. Also, you have to look at the other competition would be the Indian motorcycles. And this particular bike may be $1,000 more than an equivalent Indian. I'm not sure exactly which model Indian this would directly compete with, but I know that since I made the video Ride Like a Pro on Your Indian, I've ridden every model, and they are not as maneuverable. There is a major difference between Harley-Davidson maneuverability and the Indian. Performance-wise, yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, we're talking tenths of a second. The edge and ride quality I'd have to give to the Indian and the Goldwing and the BMW. But to me, this rides just fine. Makes no sense. But anyway, I'm real happy with the purchase. I love the sound of the Tab performance mufflers with the medium baffles. And the tuned exhaust headers. By the way, Tab is now making performance headers as well. So they can make any Harley-Davidson sound really, really good. So to me, this is the perfect tour. I've got a tour pack I got from Advan Black, and of course it came in black, so it matches this bike perfectly, and it holds more than enough for me to take a weekend trip. If you like this video, take a look at this one, you'll like it as well.